The companions radiallahu anhum of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, too, stricken with grief, became like those who lose their senses. Then Allah raised Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu and showed for the second time the manifestation of his power and saved Islam just when it was about to fall and fulfilled the promise which was spelled out in the verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا يمكنن لهم دينهم الذي ارتضى لهم ولا يبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا. That is, after the fear, we shall firmly be established.
That is also what happened at the time of Moses alayhi when he died on his way from Egypt to Canaan. Before taking the Israelites to the intended destination in accordance with the promise, at his death, the Israelites were plunged into deep mourning.
It is written in Torah that with the grief at this untimely death and sudden departure of Moses alayhi salam, the Israelites wept for 40 days. The same happened with Christ at the time of the incident of crucifixion. All his disciples scattered, and even one of them apostatized.
So, dear friends, since it is the Sunnatullah from time immemorial that God Almighty shows two manifestations so that the two false joys of the opponents be put to an end, it is not possible now that God should relinquish his sunnah of old. So do not grieve over what I have said to you, nor should your hearts be distressed.
For it is essential for you to witness the second manifestation also, and its coming is better for you because it is everlasting, the continuity of which will not end till the day of judgment. And that second manifestation cannot come unless I depart. But when I depart, God will send that second manifestation for you, which shall always stay with you, just as promised by God in Brahina Ahmadiyya.
And this promise is not for my person, rather the promise is with reference to you, as God, addressing me, says, I shall make this Jamaat, who are your followers, prevail over others till the day of judgment. Thus it is inevitable that you see the day of my departure. So that after that day, the day comes which is the day of everlasting promise. Our God is He who keeps His promise and is faithful and is the truthful God. He shall show you all that He has promised.
Jazakumullah Ahsanul Jazaa to all the students who participated in this. So next we have a nazm by G3567.
खलीफा के हम हैं खलीफा हमारा वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा जो तलहा ने हाथों पतीरों को खाया फिदा हो के आका पे सब कुछ लुटाया उसी की तरह हम भी फना करेंगे अलम दीनी अहमद का गिरन जाने न देंगे कि जिंदा जमात का ये इस्तियारा खलीफा के हम हैं खलीफा हमारा वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा मोहब्बत के नारे लबों पे सजा कर दिलों में मसीहा शम्मे जला कर ज़मीं के किनारों को रोशन करेंगे वफ़ाओं पे जिंदा रहेंगे मरेंगे करेंगे ज़माने में ऊंचा मनारा खलीफा के हम हैं खलीफा हमारा वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा जो अहदे वफा है निभाएंगे आका तेरे हुक्म पे जान लुटाएंगे आका न हमको भी मूसा की तरह कहेंगे कि हम नूर दीन मोहम्मद बनेंगे हमें अज़्म हिम्मत अता हो खुदाया खलीफा के हम हैं खलीफा हमारा वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा
Jazakallah Ahsanul Jaza for that very beautifully recited nazm. So next we have a speech by G3623 on the topic Concept of Khilafat.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected President and dear friends, topic of my speech is the concept of Khilafat. Allah mentions in the Holy Qur'an in chapter 24 verse 56, Allah has promised to those among you who believe and do good works that He will surely make them successors in the earth, as He made successors from those who were before them, and that He will surely establish for them their religion which He has chosen for them, and He will surely give them in exchange security and peace after their fear. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said that the prophethood shall remain among you as long as God shall will. God will bring about its end and follow it with Khilafat on the precepts of prophethood for as long as God shall will, and then bring about its end. A tyrannical monarchy will then follow and then come to an end. There will follow thereafter monarchical despotism to last as long as God shall will and come to an end upon His decree. There will then emerge Khilafat on the precept of prophethood. Khilafat is a spiritual dominion of Allah Almighty, and its establishment is never brought about by any political or pseudo-religious movement. Whenever Khilafat is established by divine design, it has been through a prophet of Allah. History furnishes not a single instant where Khilafat was established without the advent of a prophet preceding it. The Khilafat promised in the Holy Qur'an is in the footsteps of a prophet. With the advent of the promised Messiah ﷺ, and the holy founder of the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam, Khilafat was re-established. Just as Allah appoints a prophet, it is He who appoints the Khalifa as well. He chooses the person who is most eligible to become a Khalifa and guides a group of pious believers into manifesting His will through a process of selection of the Khalifa. Thus, it may apparently seem that the Khalifa is chosen by a group of pious people. but it is in fact the will of Allah that guides their faculties into choosing the Khalifa of his choice. Once a Khalifa is selected, he remains a Khalifa for the rest of his life as a living testament to divine will. In order for faith to prevail, God also deemed it the duty of those who claim to adhere to the system of Khilafat to become its helpers and be resolute in safeguarding their own faith, as well as taking the message of faith to others. The system of Khilafat is connected to religious progress, and it is a part of Islamic Sharia. We all know that religious progress cannot take place without Khilafat. Permanence of Khilafat is part of faith. Khilafat establishes the authority of Allah on earth, and the Khalifa strives to uphold that authority within the community of followers. For the believers, Khilafat is an embodiment of Allah's unity, as they choose to take divine authority through the person of the Khalifa. The believers partake of the blessings of Khilafat by holding firm to their faith and practices, united under him. May Allah enable us all to be fully obedient to the Khalifa of the time. Ameen. Jazakallah.
Ameen. Jazakallah Sunul Jaza. It was a very informative speech, and I just want to remind all the students that, as usual, we will have a quiz at the end. It is kind of like a tradition in G1, G2, and G3 to have a quiz in our jalsas. So make sure that you are listening carefully. I hope that everyone is listening carefully so far as well. But next we have a presentation, so make sure you listen extra carefully. For the presentation, I would like to call MTG3HK. Some of you might recognize her voice from G1 and G2 because she's the main teacher there, and she always delivers presentations as well. So I'll hand over to you now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah.
Is my screen showing okay?
Yes.
Jazakumullah, thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I'm very pleased to be present today in the G3 class, and I hope you all, as your main in charge told you, are all listening carefully, because there will be a quiz at the end of the presentation. So please listen carefully so that you're able to answer whatever questions come to you. So without any further ado, I'll start my presentation now. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. The 27th of May is commemorated in the Jamaat as Khilafat Day. In today's presentation, we are going to take a deeper look at what Khilafat is and why we commemorate this day. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah's divine power is manifested twice. I appeared from God as a manifestation, and I am personified power, and I am a personified power of God. And after me, there shall come other persons who will be a second manifestation of God's power. As Ahmadi Muslims, we are blessed by Allah in having Khilafat-e-Ahmadiyya. It is a reward given as the second manifestation of the promised Messiah, ﷺ. This means that since the demise of the promised Messiah, ﷺ, in 1908, his objectives and goals are being taken forward by the institution of Khilafat. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, explained what the word Khalifa means. He said, and I quote, "The word signifies the one who is called someone's successor and who should succeed his predecessor's work for all practical purposes. If someone is a tailor, then the person doing the same work after him is his Khalifa. And if a student takes up the task of conducting a class in the absence of his teacher, then that student will be called the Khalifa of the teacher. Likewise, one who succeeds the work of a prophet is a Khalifa of that prophet. Let's now follow Ali as he discovers Khilafat. One day, Ali was going to the library at his mosque to do some reading. When Ali arrived, he found countless books on all subjects. So Ali decided to choose a book from the thousands of books on the shelf and began to read on a comfy reading chair. The book he had chosen was the Khilafat souvenir. Ali learned amazing things, such as how God himself chooses a Khalifa and how God then guides him. Ali wanted to learn some more, so he decided to ask Abuji about Khilafat. Abuji was busy reading a book of the promised Messiah, ﷺ. Abuji, what is Khilafat? Beta, that is a great question. Let me explain to you what is Khilafat. You see, Beta, whenever Allah sends a prophet, he always establishes Khilafat after the prophet, so that even after the prophet's demise, the work that prophet started may be carried on by the Khalifa. Abuji then told Ali about how after the promised Messiah, ﷺ, God established Khilafat. Wow, Abuji, I never knew so much about Khilafat. Abuji, what are the names of our Khulafa? And how can I build a relationship with beloved Huzoor? Abuji then told Ali about the names of the five Khulafa of the Jamaat. The first, Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Saab, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. Second, Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad Saab, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. Third, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Saab, Rahmullah Alayh. Fourth, Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Saab, Rahmullah Alayh. Fifth, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Saab, Ayatollah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz. Beta, the way you build a relationship with Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, is to pray for him and yourself that may Allah grant you nearness to the Khalifa of the time and to write letters to him regularly. And this story was taken from Tahir magazine, where there was a special edition all about Khilafat in May 2015. So Ali asked two very, very important questions, which we will look at in a little bit more detail now. The first was, who are our Khulafa? Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Saab, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. He was a very close friend of the promised Messiah and was the first person to take the bag at the hand of the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam. The promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, stated, how nice it would be if everyone from my followers were Nuruddin. This is only possible when one's heart is illuminated by the light of truth and firm belief. The promised Messiah ﷺ established the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, but sadly he passed away on the 26th of May, 1908. It was on the 27th of May, 1908, that Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was selected to be Khalifatul Masih, that is, the Khalifa of the Messiah. Of his many achievements, one was the establishment of the Al-Fazl newspaper, which is still in circulation today. This was established on the 19th of June, 1913. Also, in the same month, the first foreign mission was established in England. Sadly, he passed away on the 13th of March, 1914. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad was the son of the promised Messiah ﷺ, whose birth had been prophesied by Hazrat Nasimat ﷺ. On the 14th of March 1914, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was elected, and he led the funeral prayers of Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. In the first Jalsa after he became Khalifa, he stated, "You have someone who has true sympathy for you, who truly loves you, who considers your pain and sufferings to be his own, and who is always praying to Allah for you." Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, also known as the Promised Reformer, introduced many improvements into the administration of the community throughout his 51-year Khilafat. For example, Fazl Mosque in London was founded on the 19th of October, 1924. As a result of the scheme of Tehreek-e-Jadid, which is a financial scheme which all members of the Jamaat, young and old, are advised to contribute to, many foreign missions were opened in countries such as East Africa, Japan, and Spain, and many other countries too. He set up the Jamaat headquarters in Rabwa, Pakistan, after the partition of India and Pakistan in August 1947. At the age of 77 years, after over 50 years of leading the Jamaat as Khalifatul Masih II, Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu passed away on the 8th of November 1965. The Promised Messiah ﷺ received a revelation about the birth of Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahmullah alayh. "I shall give you a boy who will be your grandson." Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was also told by God that he would be given a son who will be Nasir, or helper of religion. This son was born on the 16th of November 1909, and was named Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahmullah alayh. He became HAFIZ-UL-QUR'AN at the age of 13. On the 9th of November 1965, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahmullah alayh was elected as Khalifatul Masih III. As Khalifa, he offered great leadership with his unique administrative ability and distinctive plans. He strengthened and expanded the Jamaat remarkably. One of the schemes he established was the Nusrat Jahan scheme, named after Hazrat al-Mu'mineen Sayyida Nusrat Jahan Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anha, the blessed wife of the Promised Messiah Islam. This fund is used to establish schools and hospitals in West Africa and to provide teachers and doctors. He had great aspirations to re-establish Islam in Spain and prayed fervently for this. Allah heard and answered his prayers, and in 1980 he laid the foundation stone of Masjid Basharat in Spain. And on this occasion, he announced the golden Islamic motto, "Love for all, hatred for none." This mosque was built in 8 months, and it was the first mosque to be built in Spain in over 500 years. At the wedding of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, to his wife, Hazrat Sayyida Maryam Begum, Hazrat Sayyida Maryam Begum, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, Sayyid Sarwar Shah Sahab, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, a companion of the Promised Messiah ﷺ, said, "I am now advanced in years and would soon pass away. But those who live would witness the advent of servants of the faith born in this wedlock, with a Sayyidah, as occurred before. This is my resolute conviction." And he was so right, as from this marriage, Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Rahmullah alayh was born. Once during his childhood, he was asked by a well-known Ahmadi, Maulana Abdul Rahim Nair Sahib, "Which reward would you cherish most for doing good work?" "Allah, only Allah," was the 10-year-old's spontaneous answer. After the sad demise of his elder brother, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahmullah alayh, he was elected Khalifatul Masih IV on the 10th of June, 1982. In April 1984, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih IV Rahmullah alayhi migrated to UK due to the severe restrictions against Ahmadis in Pakistan. This opened the path for a new era of expansion and progress for the Jamaat. He lived here for the rest of his life in Fazl Mosque in Southfields. Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Rahmullah alayhi had so many notable achievements. For example, in 1987, he announced the Waqf-e-Noor scheme, where families were urged to dedicate their children to the service of Islam Ahmadiyyat, which I'm sure many of you are a part of. He launched the first Muslim satellite television network, MTA, which we all have access to, and where we can regularly watch his question and answer sessions and Quran classes. On the 1st of August 1993, he took the first international Bai'at, which now takes place every year at Jalsa Salana. He wrote numerous books, for example, Revelation, Rationality, Knowledge and Truth, Christianity from Facts to Fiction, and Absolute Justice, Kindness and Kinship, just to name a few. And during his Khilafat, he laid the foundation stone for the Baitul Futuh Mosque in Morden, one of the largest mosques in Europe. He sadly passed away on the 19th of April, 2003. Inni ma'aka ya Masroor. Surely I am with you, O Masroor. In the handwriting of the promised Messiah ﷺ, which was part of a revelation which the promised Messiah ﷺ received and wrote down in his own writing when he received it. The current Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Khalifatul Masih V. May Allah be his helper. He is the great-grandson of the promised Messiah ﷺ and the grandson of Hazrat Mirza Bashir ad-Din Mahmud Ahmad, the second Khalifa, Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. We are blessed to have a divinely guided Khalifa who directs Ahmadi Muslims in every issue, big and small. Through his prayer and wisdom, he unites our community, which has now spread in over 200 countries. Under the leadership of Ahmadiyya Khilafat, Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya is progressing by leaps and bounds and has built over 16,000 mosques, 500 schools, 30 hospitals, and has translated the Holy Qur'an in more than 70 languages. HUZOOR is a leading figure in the worldwide campaign for peace. And he established the annual National Peace Symposium, where a peace prize is given to individuals who have gone to lengths to achieve peace. With HUZOOR's support, the charity Humanity First has been able to provide food, shelter, education, health services, disaster relief, clean water, electricity, and much more to the needy across the world. His focus on education began the academic awards, where students who achieved the highest grades in their exams receive medals from the hands of beloved HUZOOR. And sticking with the education theme, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Research Association was also established to enable us to delve more deeply into particular areas of research. Under his guidance, MTA has progressed from a single television channel to a network of multi-channel network which caters for the entire world, from Europe to America, from the Middle East to Africa, and is accessible via satellite or through the internet. In 2019, HUZOOR, may Allah be his helper, moved from the Fazl Mosque in Southfields to Islamabad, Tilford, where he inaugurated the first purpose-built mosque there, Mubarak Mosque. And we are all able to see him live from there every week when he delivers the Friday sermon. Alhamdulillah. I think that answers Ali's question as to who the Khulafa are and has highlighted just a handful of their achievements. The second question Ali asked was, how can we build a relationship with the Khalifa? Hazrat Khalifatul Masih the Fourth, Rahmullah alayhi, explained that in order to build a relationship with Khilafat, we first have to build a strong relationship with Allah. If we love Allah, we will love His Khalifa. There are numerous ways that you as children can build a relationship with beloved Huzoor. For example, the Friday sermon. Every single week, we get new reminders and guidance straight from the lips of our beloved Khalifa. May Allah be his helper. Writing regular letters to Huzoor for prayers is a great way to establish this relationship. Reading Abi Khan Sab's diary is a beautiful way to learn about the life of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. May Allah be his helper. The importance of reading these diaries is apparent from the fact that during Huzoor, may Allah be his helper's visit to Germany in 2015, a 16-year-old boy approached Abid Saab and said that until he had learned about Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, from the diaries, he did not love the Khilafat in the way that an Ahmadi should. But having read them, he had seen just how much Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, loved the Jamaat and why we needed Khilafat. They start from way back in 2012, so there is plenty to read through. We are so lucky that we have This Week with Huzoor, where we can see clips of Huzoor's meetings with Ahmadis from all over the world and learn from all the questions that Huzoor takes the time to answer. These question-answer sessions can be watched in full as well. And we have numerous children's classes and Waqf Nur classes and Ijtimas that Huzoor has presided over. And then there are the regular speeches that we can watch on MTA or listen to on the Voice of Islam radio station, and even read, as many have been printed in book form and can be found on alislam.org. So, Khilafat Day is when we remember and commemorate the day when Khilafat began over 100 years ago on the 27th of May, 1908. We are reminded of the importance of Khilafat, so it is our responsibility as Ahmadi Muslims to recognize this blessing and mercy of Allah and be grateful for it. Pray passionately for our beloved Khalifa, may Allah be his helper, and strive to build a strong relationship with him through all means available to us. It is important for us to know that our Khalifa loves us and cares for us more than we can ever imagine. I'd like to end with a small quote from our beloved Huzoor, may Allah be his helper. He states, "Before sleeping at night, there is no country of the world that I do not visit in my imagination, and no Ahmadi for whom I do not pray whilst sleeping and whilst awake. I am not saying this to count favors. No, this is my duty. May Allah the Exalted make me perform my duty more than ever." Jazakumullah, Ahsanul Jazaa.
Jazakillah Ahsanul Jazaa for that very beautiful presentation. I hope that all the students were listening carefully, and I pray that may Allah enable us all to develop a strong bond with Khilafat, and obviously that cannot happen unless we develop a bond with Khalifa, with our beloved Huzoor, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz. Okay, and Hafiya Sahaba went through many ways in which we can develop a bond with Huzoor. Okay, so next we are going to have a quiz on the topic of Khilafat, and it will be conducted by two of our teachers. So yeah, I'll hand over.
Okay.
To
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Jazakallah. I'll just share my screen if that's okay.
Yeah.
I hope everyone has listened to the beautiful presentation given up just now. There are many questions from the presentation, so let's see how well you've actually paid attention. Okay. So in terms of the rules, so based on the PowerPoint presented, you will be asked a range of questions to see how much you've actually understood the presentation. So I will read out a question and I will give you 3 options to choose from. You'll have around 5 seconds to pick the correct answer. A poll will appear on your screen. Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it, but it's on the wrong. It's on the wrong slide.
Can you see it now?
No, not at the moment.
Samkum, can you see it?
No, I can't see it at the moment. Do you want me to share?
Okay, I've tried once more. Let me know if this is correct now.
Yes, it's on the right slide.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So as I was saying, a poll will appear on your screen asking you to select the correct answer. Once you have selected the answer, you will submit it in. And don't worry, the poll will be anonymous, so we will not know who have answered. So be sure to answer confidently. And therefore, good luck. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would request you to please share the screen. I think there's a problem with my screen. Please.
Yeah, I'll share the screen.
So the first question is, when do Ahmadi Muslims? All right, yeah. So when do Ahmadi Muslims celebrate Khilafat Day? A, is it 27th of March? B, is it 17th of March? Or C, is it 27th of May? 5 seconds. Okay, perfect. So 90% of you have said the correct answer, which is 27th of May. Well done. So what is the meaning of Khalifa according to the promised Messiah alayhi salam? A, a successor who renews faith. B, most beloved person of Allah the Almighty. Or C, most righteous person. 5 seconds. Okay. Okay. So most of you said a successor who renews faith. So D, show the correct answer. Yeah, so most of you are correct. Well done. A successor who renews the faith. Next question. Which of the following is not a successor of the promised Messiah alayhi salam? A, Hazrat Sahib anhu. C, Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib. So which one of them are not the successor of the promised Messiah alayhi salam? 5 seconds. Okay. Well done. So 98% of you have said the correct answer. So let's see that Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib. Okay, well done. Let's move on to the next question, please. So who was the first person to take bath at the hand of the promised Messiah Islam? Hazrat Mirza Bashir bin Mahmud Ahmed, Razillah Ta'ala Anhu, Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Sahib, Razillah Ta'ala Anhu, or none of the above? First person to take bath at the hand of the promised Messiah Islam. Okay. So 83% of you have answered Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Sahib Razillah Ta'ala Anhu. Let's check the answers. Yeah, so well done. It is Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Sahib Razillah Ta'ala Anhu. Question number 5. How was Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmed Razillah Ta'ala Anhu related to the promised Messiah? A. He was his cousin. B. He was his close friend. Or C. He was his son. 5 seconds. Perfect. Okay. So 74% of you have said he was his son, which is the correct answer. Well done. Let's move on. What is Khalifatul Masih II Razillah Ta'ala Anhu also known as? Promised one, promised reformer, or none of the above? 5 seconds. Okay. Again, the answer is promised reformer. Well done. Most of you have got that right. When was Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahimullah born? 16th November 1909, 26th May 1919, or 6th November 1909? 5 seconds. Okay, so here we got a mixed poll. The correct answer is 16th of November 1909, right? Okay. Question number 8 is, at what age did Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Rahimullah become a HAFIZ-UL-QUR'AN? Was it 23? Was it 12? Or was it 13? Okay. Yep, so it was 13. Well done. Most of you have got that right. It was 13 years old. When he was 13 years old. MashaAllah. Question number 9 is, which Khalifa launched the first Muslim satellite television network, which is also known as MTA? Was it Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin Sahib Razillah Ta'ala Anhu? Or was it Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Rahimullah Alayh? Or was it Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bi Nasrihil Aziz? 5 seconds, please. Okay. Okay, yes, well done. Most of you have answered it correctly. It is Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Rahimullah Alayh. Question number 10 is, what year did Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Rahimullah Alayh sadly pass away? Was it 2002, 2003, or 2004? 5 seconds. Okay. So the answer is 2003. Well done. Most of you have got that right. Question number 11. When was Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bi Nasrihil Aziz appointed as Khalifa? Was it 22nd of April 2003, 22nd of May 2003, or was it none of the above? Okay. Most of you have answered 22nd of April 2003. Well done. That's the correct answer. Question number 12 is, acting upon Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad's Rahimullah advice for a strong relationship with Khilafat, what is the first step we need to take? Is it strong relation with Allah the Almighty? B, strong relation with our parents? Or C, strong relations with our siblings? 5 seconds. Okay. MashaAllah, well done. Yeah, 95%, 93% of you have said the correct answer, which is A. Well done. You have to have a strong relation with Allah the Almighty, because as a result, you will love the Khalifa appointed by Allah the Almighty. Well done. Question number 13 is how? How can we actually build a strong relationship with Huzoor? Is it by writing letters to Huzoor, by watching the Friday sermons, or is it all of the above? Okay. Yep. So most of you have answered all of the above. Well done. So for those who've answered one of each, that's also correct. But both ways are the ways that we can actually build a strong relationship with Huzoor.
Jazakumullah ahsanul jaza. So that was the end of our quiz. Jazakumullah to both of the teachers. One was working in the background, launching the polls. Now we are going to end with silent prayer, and today we have our G1 and G2 in charge with us. Yeah, so our G1 and G2 in charge is here, and I would like to request her to lead us in silent prayer.
Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everybody. Jazakumullah for inviting me to the Jalsa. I really enjoyed the Jalsa. It was very nice. I have missed the young children and their lovely voices and their eagerness. I really enjoyed it. MashaAllah, the presentation was very good. It really helped in reminding us of many of the blessings of Khilafat. So Jazakumullah for inviting me. If everyone can join me in silent prayer. Ameen. Jazakumullah.
Jazakumullah. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.